Sir, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and your DOC number.
My name is Carlos Drayden DOC number 335827, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Drayden. My name is Cheryl Renanza. This is Mr. Alvin Roche, Mrs. Bonnie Jackson. Do you have a parole revocation questionnaire there in front of you?
This right, this one here, this here.
No, it's a parole revocation questionnaire. See it on the screen? Is that your signature at the bottom of that page?
Yes, ma'am.
Dated October 17th, 2023.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So that, based on that form and your answers to those questions, it was determined you're not eligible for appointed counsel. So are you ready to proceed this morning?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right. So we're here for a revocation decision. When I find the, let me get to the right page. Here it is. I'm going to read the allegations against you, after which you'll enter a plea of guilty or not guilty. You can plead guilty with a statement or not guilty with a statement also. And then we'll have a discussion about the allegations. All right?
Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Drayden, you're accused of violating the conditions of your parole, specifically condition number 4, which states you committed the offense of domestic abuse battery in April 2019, and you were arrested for this charge on May 1st, 2023. On August 23rd, 2023, the domestic abuse battery charge was not crossed. How do you plead to violating condition number 4?
Ma'am, I plead not guilty.
Not guilty, okay.
Yes, ma'am, because the statement is.
We'll get to the statement in a minute. Let's just finish with the allegations and then we'll let you tell us the story, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Next is condition number 10. You're currently $4,098 in arrears on your supervision fees. How do you plead to violating condition number 10?
I'm guilty, ma'am.
Okay. Your case has been assigned to Mr. Roche. Would you answer his questions?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Drayden. How are you?
I'm all right.
Okay, Mr. Drayden, sit back, take a deep breath, and we're gonna get to the bottom of this, okay?
Yes, sir.
No anxious, but just sit back, relax. Now, Mr. Drayden, you are released on supervision in 2018, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
And you are accused of domestic abuse in 2019, and you were arrested in May of 2023. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I had no knowledge.
Sir, so now give me an explanation why there was 4 years in between the alleged offense and your arrest.
Sir, I had no knowledge. I even had a warrant out for my arrest or any of that. I went to court on some tickets. I was presently, when I went to court on some tickets, I had got credit for time served. As I was being released, they come back and said I had a domestic abuse from 2019. I had no knowledge of it, sir.
Okay. Now, were you dating the victim at the time of the alleged offense?
At the time, me and her had been split up. We weren't even much dealing with each other at the time. And
at your preliminary hearing, you mentioned your brother Thomas.
yeah, he the one who started messing with her.
Tell me the involvement between the victim and Thomas.
They the ones got an ongoing relationship. We just had our little thing. That's all it was. It wasn't no relationship as a talking about a long-standing relationship. It was not one.
Okay. And the charges were not processed. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, they were.
And what was the basis of them dismissing the case?
The basis of them dismissing the case, affidavits done by her, and that was it, sir. And I went to trial on it on the 23rd of August, and they dropped all charges, dismissed all charges.
Okay, now, how long have you been incarcerated?
They didn't I have been incarcerated. They didn't re-incarcerate me. I was incarcerated from May to August. Then I was reinstated on my parole on the 24th, the day after the trial. And I went and reported on that August, the end of August. I went and reported in September. And come October, they rearrest me behind the same thing, sir. They
Okay.
saying,
So you've been incarcerated since October.
sir?
So you've been incarcerated since October.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Okay. So your brother did an affidavit. You said
She did the affidavit herself.
Okay. 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 Um, Madam Chairman, I don't think I have any further questions.
All right, before you were arrested the first time, okay? Because I know you got arrested twice or detained twice. Before you got detained the first time, what was going on? Were you working? Were you reporting?
I was working. I had got they had picked me up for
I understand, but please just answer the question.
yes, I was working, ma'am. I was doing catering
Where were you working?
at Furlough's Cajun Kitchen, doing catering, ma'am.
Okay, but that's kind of part-time.
Yes, it was.
So, how long were you in prison?
How long was I in prison? I was incarcerated for about 5.5 years, ma'am.
And where were you incarcerated?
I discharged from Morehouse Parish, ma'am.
Did you ever go to a DOC facility?
Yes, I have, ma'am.
Okay, while you were there, did you pick up any job training or job skills?
I did some tutoring, but that was that extent.
Job training, I didn't say tutoring.
No, ma'am, I didn't pick up any job training. I worked at Beauregard at the in the city of Pineville while I was incarcerated as well.
Well, my point is a catering job, that's sporadic. That's, whenever there's a function, which isn't, a steady job. Why haven't you tried to secure reliable employment?
Okay, well, ma'am, I have been trying to fill out my disability because I have a bad leg. And at the time I told my parole.
Stop talking. What's wrong with your leg?
I had got shot about 20 years ago, and it just making my cartilage has deteriorated in my knee, and it makes me walk with a limp.
Okay, and
I've been trying to make my doctor's appointment, but every time I've been able to try to get my doctor's appointments lined up, I've been back and forth in the system, man.
that makes no sense. None whatsoever.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you haven't really made a real effort to try to work. Because they can give you shots in your knee to help that.
Okay.
When's the last time you paid a supervision fee?
Since 19, ma'am.
And why didn't you pay? Okay, we'll skip over the pandemic. Okay, let's go to 22 and 23. Why weren't you paying supervision fees?
Ma'am, I've been incarcerated majority of 23. I hadn't been out.
22.
Okay, with 22, ma'am, it just been running into bad breaks, ma'am. I'm just being honest with you.
Did it ever occur to you that you make your breaks?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. There are people who've been in prison, stayed in prison a lot longer than you did,
and they get out and they manage to be successful. But you're using the fact, some people don't have a leg, and they still manage to get a job and be successful.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't you think you can do better than you've chosen to do so far?
Yes, ma'am. I put forth my best effort.
You know, you have,
I said I would try my best to put forth my best effort, ma'am.
I think you
Give
need
it
to do that.
opportunity.
Okay, I think you need to do that. Stop using that leg as an excuse, stop trying to get disability. You know, from the neck up, you got a brain, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You gotta be able to use that brain to support yourself. And not every job requires manual labor,
That's true, ma'am.
so.
Mr. O'Shea.
Mr. Dryden, when is the last time you had a full-time job working 40 hours a week?
It's been a while.
How long have you been out of incarceration since 2018, right?
Yes, sir. I done had a job since then, but when COVID came,
Sir, when is the last time you had a full-time job working 40 hours a week?
about 20.
And what were you doing?
Cooking, ma'am. Cooking, sir.
And how long did you have that job?
I kept it about 8, 9 months.
That's not a good employment record, just 8 or 9 months.
They wind up closing because of COVID.
And you didn't look for another job?
I did, but I wound up getting unemployment for a little while, and
So you took advantage of the financial boom during COVID and took unemployment and checks that were given out. So COVID is over in 2022. Why didn't you get a job in 2022?
I've been looking, sir. I hadn't found anything that I was able to be suitable.
Everywhere I look, there's a sign, hiring, $10 an hour, $14 an hour. When you can't find work, McDonald's always hiring, Burger King, churches. You find a job until you get a job, until you find a job you want. Walmart is looking for employees to keep the doors open. There's no reason why an able-bodied man cannot find a job if he's really looking. You agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. O'Shea. Commander Ferris, is there anything you'd like us to know about Mr. Drayden?
Well, he came here on October 13th, 2023, and he had one write-up last week on December the 7th for disavowal of a verbal. They asked him not to stand at a certain individual's cell and talk, and he continued to.
All right, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Mr. Drayden, let me ask you this. In 2019, you were in a relationship with Miss Jones, is that right? But you are no longer.
We just had our thing, ma'am. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. All right. Anything you want to say to us before we vote?
I'm trying, I'm just trying to get past this, because I didn't even know I had a warrant out for my arrest from 2019 on up until now. I really didn't, because that would have been that I'd have been had that taken care of. But I didn't got this done, and had my best to rectify all this. I don't know.
Sir, I think we're ready to vote. Mr. Roche will be voting first.
Okay,
Chairman, I move for executive session.
Second. We have a motion and a second for our executive session. I do not object, so it's a unanimous vote for executive session to discuss confidential matters. So stand by, Mr. Drayden. We'll be right back with you. All right, we are back in regular session. It's 8:48. And we are prepared to vote. Mr. Drayden, Mr. Roche will be voting first.
Mr. Drayden, you're a complicated case and you have a problem. You can't find employment and you need to find employment. You agree with me on that?
yes, sir.
So what I'm going to do is, in lieu of revocation, I'm going to order you to a 6-month transitional work program where you'll be allowed to go out and work in the public for 6 months, earn some money. Hopefully you do a good job at that job and you'll be offered employment at that establishment when you're released. And then you'll have a job. So basically what you're gonna be is incarcerated for 6 months, working at a job, earning some money. After 6 months, you'll be released and hopefully you'll be offered employment at that establishment. Good luck.
Mrs. Jackson?
All right, Mr. Drayden, likewise, my vote is do not revoke and order you to complete a 6 months transitional work release program and add a condition of your parole that upon release you to maintain full-time gainful employment. Mr. Drayden, I think you yourself realize you can do better than what you're doing. Okay? You know,
Yes,
raise your expectations of what you can do.
Yes,
Okay?
ma'am.
Make yourself proud.
Yes, ma'am.
My vote.
Mr. Drayden, I do concur with my colleagues. My vote also is in lieu of revocation to send you to a work release program with the same special condition as Mrs. Jackson ordered. And I'll add a special condition. You're to have absolutely no contact with Comey Jones.
I hadn't had any contact with.
It's not a problem then. I'm gonna put it on your sheet though. Good luck to you, sir.
All right, thank you.